talk about what's going on in the gaming industry as a whole. Um, yeah, so let's get to it. Either way, I wanted to tell Diamante, obviously. I told you in one of my bills, I'm booking all year long for Series S and PS5 pretty much, and based off what I saw last night, the pros and cons of that Series S, I'm going to get Series S Diamante. I don't think I was because I know what you're thinking, man. I know what you're thinking, but Sony has nothing, bro. Not only that, they lost all this money. They held them layoffs. So it's still shut down. Not all of them, but some of them. And Sony had is around on money-headed third parties and non-money-headed second parties and indicate that's the key to my fault. Like I said, I was I thought you were getting the PS5 from what you just said, Instacart and GameStop, but I saw how much they wanted for it. Yeah, I saw that on Instacart, and they said, well, if I was the price, it was $395. I said 400. I said, well, I got Instacart Plus, but still, go ahead to get serious, ass, bro. I changed my mind. Someone's going through too much, and once their CEOs are gone, TFOs are gone, Sony might pull a Sega eventually, because once the CEOs and TFOs are gone, that's it, man. Sony has nothing. And the 30%, as I told you before, that's not a lot on Sony's end as the revenue stand. And they just lost Warner Brothers to Microsoft as of last week because Netflix bought out the gaming license and movie license as of last week. I'm sure you already saw the news for that already. But either way, glad to get serious, ass. On the months I'm bought abroad, so I said, well, Sony has nothing, bro. Nothing that I want to play for from PS5 standpoint, because even when we get in the disc, it's still nothing to play other than indies and the money-headed third parties and non-money-headed second part in the rage quitting fighting games. But other than that, that's set. Sony has nothing. Well, they must say you bought the problems though, girl. I said, well, Sony has nothing, bro. I know you got your degree in business, but you don't have my degrees that my uncle have. But he has all three of them, and you only have one. That already don't count for nothing in this area. So some for that too. As I said before, Sony has nothing. And they had all these wells in the past 2 years, bro. You know, they have had wells since May. Microsoft hasn't had any since June. Yet. But like I said, Sony has nothing, bro. As I told you before, keep the video short, 20 minutes. Obviously, I wanted to get this video up. I'm going to give industry. But I'm going to make more gaming industry videos later on during the week, too. But, and when I come back from my point, but either way, I don't do anything about the project, but PS4 support, enjoy play around controversy. And I said, well, Sony has nothing, bro. You know, I know what I'm worth for a Series S because it's the best part, and I'm getting into the ecosystem. Sony has nothing, bro. Literally nothing for me to play other than the race quitting fighting games as you would bring up, and second parties and money-headed third parties and this non-money-headed second parties, and also they don't have the first parties still. And Naughty Dog took this long to even make The Last of Us 3. Took that long to make The Last of Us 3 no return. So Diamante on this, The Last of Us 3 no return. Sorry, Diamante. As I told you before, Sony has nothing. And we're in the all digital era now, so when I get this here, that's going to have to be my last. Well, it's technically my second Microsoft console because I had the 360 in 2004, 2005, and the PS1. But my first consoles was Game Boy Advance and Color when I was a kid. Then those were the first consoles I had before I got PS1, 360, and 04 and 05. So no more FOMO to me this time. So I just get started because I also had all this gaming content, including the games I could play anywhere on Series. That's pun intended. I started to get the external hard drive. But that's strange because 365 gigabytes is not installed those games. You know, I could stream some of those via cloud on the console. Obviously, I still need a external hard drive to install again, and I could just use the one got for my PS4. I have to upgrade my PS4 one to a 1 terabyte because if I'm buying Black Ops 6 and 7, eventually I'm going to need all the space I can install them games, especially Sonic games, pun intended, as well. So my cousin Bree plays them either way, but I had to upgrade the hard drive on my PS4 because the one I got is small from the storage center. I had to upgrade it because I told my aunt how much space I need to install both of those Call of Duties. So I went ahead to upgrade the 1 terabyte hard drive on PS4 as well as the external. but I can use my Kodak one for my Series S. Install the indies. I can use my other one, that same thing for Evolution. Install my games on there too. So where you add up the 365 gigabytes I had plus the 1 terabyte I need for that Series S for external for the Series S, and then the one I have from Kodak when I got off for 10, I have over almost close to 2 terabytes total on that console on that Series S. So when I upgrade my PS4 to 1 terabyte, I'm going to need it if I'm going to be buying Black Ops 6 and 7 soon. So once it goes on sale right away, obviously. So going to need all the storage space I can. Because I told my aunt yesterday, we was talking about how big the games are, but might as well get Series S, bro, because Series S is only $350 total, counting you have an Instacart Plus, and um, the shipping and tax is only $2 shipping and tax, pretty much. So I'll have to save up $360 compared to what Sony's charging with the PS5 to being egregious, bro. Sony has nothing. Just want to get this video out today, but either way, Sony has nothing from a first party standpoint. They had all these layoffs. They got nothing. You know, they know all the problems are controversial. And say, well, you can call me controversial all you want, but I know what's going on with Sony. And Sony's not doing well, bro, from a financial standpoint here. And Marathon's in shambles because they still didn't get the credit to the lady for the artwork for both Destiny games because they copyrighted her shit pretty much. So it's going to get Series S, bro. Last was 3 No Return. Well, they're making that game. I already found out through the rumors they're making it. It just took them that long to make part 3. Last was 3 No Return. Sorry, they didn't want to. They want to tell all the problems. I said, well, Sony has nothing to do on this. I told you before. You can't debate me on it. Then Apple is happening. The console's third party now. Due to lack of revenue, lack of employees, and they're about to lose the remaining CEOs and other employees. So I had to get Series S. Still gonna need the external hard drive for it, and I'm going to have to use my other one. Once I upgrade my PS4 one, I'll be getting that later on in the month because I'm going to need that space to install Black Ops 6 and 7. So when I get that 1 terabyte, Evolution 1 terabyte upgrade for external hard drive, I had to space install any other things that are over 40 gigabytes or bigger. Because the current Kodak hard drive I got small from a gigabyte, so I had to upgrade it. But I can use that Kodak one for my Series S. So if I'm buying any indie game, I can install it on that external hard drive for my Evolution one on Series S. And also, so I had 2 external hard drives for my Series, the Kodak one I got off in Germany, which I already got, obviously. And use the Evolution one for my Series S. So I have a total of almost 1.5 terabytes total. Well, it's having both hard drives for Series S pretty much. But I'll have over 1 terabyte plus the file that I still have left. Remaining left, so I have over 2 terabytes on PS4 and Series S. So that way I have more than enough to install Black Ops 6 and 7 on both consoles if it allows me to transfer that game for Black Ops 6 to well, let me move it to the external, which I think is better only because the Xbox Series X and X Games stays on internal. But either way, Sony has nothing, bro. What do you want it? You still bought the problems in it, but Sony has nothing. As I told you before, and I told Jimmy Champagne, I wanted to mention him in this video too, as I'm making it right now. Jimmy is a true fanboy because he won't say which comments. Sony's still trying to stop themselves putting games on PC and making them and trying to money have them. I said, that's not true, Jimmy Champagne. I gave him some smoke on that too. On PS4, I gave him some smoke on it when I saw his video from the past several days. Actually, all year long, including the person from months prior. But I had to mention this man in the video because he's a true fan. Well, he reminds me of you to some degree, dear Monkey. I think just alike. Because they're not going to be first party. They're third party console now, as I told you before. If it wasn't third party, tell me why the Microsoft games is outdoing, or multiplayer games is outdoing your games on PS5. And tell me why is that deal on there as well. Do you want to continue to answer that question? I'm trying. Jimmy Champagne couldn't answer that question if you tried, because as I told Jimmy Champagne before, I saw some of his comments on the PS5 pretty much, and I said, hey, Christine Carroll with the super chat, what's up, what's up? Either way, as I told Jimmy Champagne, they said that's not true. Tony's still third party. Much did it in the multiplayer for him. I told Jimmy Champagne, not this year for one of his bills, but it was bills from last year. I said, that's a lie, that's a lie. They are multi-platform now because they don't have nothing. As I told Jimmy Champagne the amount before, back at first parties, they don't own Warner Brothers now. They don't own Konami now. They don't own Warner Brothers now. They don't own the game and movie right. And if you own it digitally, you don't own 20% of that revenue digitally. So yeah, not surprising there. And it's going to get serious aspect. I probably don't want to say I had three external hard drives for my PS1 series, but I had to upgrade this one. If I'm going to play Black, if I'm be buying Black Ops 6, eventually not now, but when it goes on sale, going to need the 1 terabyte external hard drive. I had to get that. That was an upgrade, but it was a need. More of a want, but it was a need. I needed that. But either way, to start those games, but either way, I just use my codec when I start my indie games on Series S, and I can use that same particular hard drive. If I buy that game for Series S, the Evolution ones, I had 2 external hard drives, and I can plug in both USB-C ports in the back of the hard drive. So either way, Sony has nothing. Because like I said, Microsoft's won the content wars because they got all these gaming licensing content. Nintendo, and I told them Nintendo dominated, and I didn't get a chance to tell them my bills last year either, but Nintendo dominated the 90s, bro. Because I had that console when I was a kid. That was my first console. I didn't get 360 and PS1 until 2004, 2005. Some FOMO case. Certain family member content, but that's another story for another time. But either way, anyways, no more FOMO. This is my second and last Microsoft, second and last. But either way, I got all these Microsoft points to use, so if I want to buy any games, more games that are pirated, pretty much from games that caught my easy $1 again, I had Microsoft points to buy those too. And I found the way around Game Pass. I'll be only paying $15 a month. I found the way around to do it in Neva, the app in Neva, so all I could do is just stack up on it. And they said they're stackable from a gaming standpoint. So either way, so I could stack up the 30 at a time as far as the $15 for the Game Pass Ultimate, so I could stack it up. But as I said, I found a way around that price. But as I said, Sony has nothing, bro. What's the point of selling the 84.3 million console units if they don't have the software? As I said in my bills last year in this year, what's the point of selling the console if they don't have the software? And I could tell you out of the 84.3 million units for the console, 44.3 of those were digital. I guarantee it. Well, they won't say, you know that. I said, trust me. Because if that's the case, that means only 40.2 brought the disc ones, counting you and my cousin included. So you already know what one falls that console. The disc was one. The disc one that did. And yes, they might discontinue the Microsoft Series X disc one, the black one. Eventually, not right now. So if my cousin something wants to get that one, she has to hurry and save up for it. Because by the time this year is over, by the time I get my stuff off the vendor, especially from, because I have what was coming out, I had to get that strong that's coming from eBay. And that's the name of that strong hard drive is Evolution with 1 terabyte. I need that if I'm going to play Black Ops 6 and 7 because I'm going to need that. If I get that game on sale, I'm going to need that space to install it. It's going to take a long time to install it over all them add-ons. But either way, Count Cold War included. I already got that game on my memory. I just had to reinstall that too. So that way I can get back to Prestige grinding on all 3. But when I get serious, I'm still going to get a hard drive for that 2 external hard drive, and I'll have a spare one to use to install my indies on. So I have the 365 gigabytes on the Series, plus that 1 terabyte for Evolution, and plus the 256 I got. So I'll have almost close to 2 terabytes on that console to use the spare while storage space is concerned. But either way, as I told you before, Sony has nothing, bro. The last was 3, no return. Sorry, damn all day. I'm being honest right now, because Sony has nothing. And even with all their employees being fired or let go, they haven't found anybody to replace them since. And that the remaining CEOs and CFOs, guys, people I told you about on my videos already. Once they lose them, Sony's in a full rebuild either way. As I told you before, Sony has nothing, bro. As I told a lot of people, including my cousin too, that's in this house too, Sony has nothing. The console's third party, as I told you, you're gonna be able to now, and I told my cousin, even some of my videos when I was cooking them too, as well, and mentioning his name too, as well. Sony has nothing, and you had nothing without me, as far as the licensing standpoint. Your physical media don't count in this era, for 2024. That's not a lot, bro. Hey, Ryan was 89 surgery. One of my switcher players with super chat. What's up? So, either way, Sony has nothing, bro. The console's third party. You have nothing, and out of all the studios my cousin played, he played out of the 40 studios. My cousin played 7 of the same studios. No, it's not the only studios to play. He has a lot of FOMO on his end coming to him. He's still gonna be waiting for first round. I said, well, you're gonna be waiting a while. I told my cousin, you're gonna be waiting a while, bro. Long while. Probably for the rest of your days. Either way, Sony has nothing. As I told these fanboys before, Captain Joseph and Devontae on this too, Sony has nothing. And without me, if it wasn't for John, as I told my cousin before, as we all told my cousin before, Joe before, if we didn't have the license for these games, especially if it wasn't getting, if it wasn't for John getting Street Fighter 6 through John, and then get all the games I got from all studios through me, you had nothing without me. But either way, like I said, Sony has nothing other than money-headed third parties and non-money-headed second parties and all indie games and all the retro games and the indie games as well as the studio for the indie games. But either way, Sony has nothing in the race with fight games. But either way, that's all. That's what's keeping them. The profile is at 84.3 because 44.3 of those consoles were disc and the other 40.2 was disc. Disc ones are dead now. After this year, the disc ones are dead. As I told you before. I'm doing so you brought the problems to him. How you know all this stuff? My sources and your sources and everything else. Because all my sources are more legitimate, and I can't give you my source. I know you use it as ammunition. That's why. Like I said, Sony has nothing. Literally nothing, bro. Like I said, if it wasn't for Sony doing what they did, well, and then now the Game of the Year Awards is today. I'm watching that too today. So I think my Uncle John's gonna be watching that too today. But Jeff Creek can't break this year Game of the Year Awards because he rigged it last year. He can't break it. And if it is rigged, Game of the Year Awards is rigged. Microsoft rigged it, and also Nintendo rigged it to the fair because Sony only has 3 Game of the Year contenders. 3. And they barely have any next year. And they have any after that. In 2020, no Game of the Year Awards going for them. So they only have 2 so far from what I know, based on what I saw on the list. Microsoft has over 20 Game of the Year contenders. Sony has 7. No. Nintendo is what I meant to say. Sorry about that. Nintendo has 7. Microsoft has 20 games, Nintendo has 7 games, Sony only has 2. And only has 2 going into next year and the years beyond. And they really don't have no Game of the Year awards after that because, or contenders after that because, if like I told you before, the Game of the Year awards with Microsoft and Nintendo rated it to their favor. Well, they want to do the Game of the Year award, right? I said, well, if Microsoft breaked it and Nintendo, like I just said, breaked it, I'm not surprised because Sony had nothing. And I'm surprised it even goes to the other guy in conversation for Game of the Year. I'm surprised the other second game, which is the second SIE game, got the console for Game of the Year. I'm surprised about that too. They're still not going to win that. Either way, it's going to be 0007, just like Spider-Man 2 was in 2023 by Nintendo. Either way, Sony has nothing, bro. Microsoft has all the content. Next year's a big year for me because I'll be getting Series S soon. Start saving up for it. I had to save up $360 for it starting in January. But either way, as I told you before, Sony has nothing. I told them all that even when I was using my podcast mic on my first one, you need to get Sony to smoke. Especially if y'all current y'all as much you want to keep defending their asses, you need to get, you and my cousin Joe need to give Sony the smoke. Because all their plans that they were doing then is backfiring in their face, bro. It is. Literally, to oblivion, to the point that Sony is scrambling right now for money right now, and they're desperate. Because once Hiroki Toki is gone, he's almost 90 years old now, and once Hideki Nishida was gone, he's almost in his 50s now, almost close to his 60s now, and then once Herman Host got, he's in his 50s, almost in his 60s now. Sony's in a repo, and they might pull a second if they're not careful. Either way, Sony has nothing, bro. Well, they want to say, you're part of the problem. So I said, there's what's holding this back. I said, no, and yes, and no. Because Sony copied the backwards compatibility from Microsoft, and I know Microsoft was doing it way longer before them. So much for that too, man. I suppose that narrative. So much for you mentioning that, because if you did mention that, I suppose that narrative right there. And then the funny thing about this, they had 14 live service games canceled. All but Gran Turismo, as I said in one of my bills several months ago, Gran Turismo 8 now was luckily not canceled because that's one of the bread and butter games, the SIE racing game. Right behind Need for Speed and Grid with the GOAT game, the Burnout Revenge and Take Over the GOAT with Frost Greatest Racing games on, to me, in my opinion. And Need for Speed, despite them not making no more after Unbound, Need for Speed still was pretty elite. Just that wish Heat was Need for Speed Heat. Now I got that in my book, one was better, but it's not. Unbound was set the standard, but no more Need for Speed's going forward. Kind of, if they do make any more, they will remake them or rebuild them. Rebuild them or remaster them. But either way, for the other ones. But either way, if they do, that's if EA has the time to do that. But either way, Sony has nothing, bro. So their plans are backfiring in the face for all these money heads. And I know they're trying to attempt the money head Shin before 5 and saying they can't do that. They really don't own that. Like Sega owns that license. They can't money head it. And even so, Sega will not allow Sony to do that. Out of Sony's sheer spitefulness and pettiness like that. Sony is really greedy. I know Nintendo is too, but they dominated the 90s. Because no Nintendo's been out, all the Nintendo consoles been out since 1868, This is old as golf. This is old as baseball. For us, a century, 2 centuries old. So, like I said, Nintendo wanted dominated the night. Sony did not dominate the night. Much Nintendo dominated the night. Young controversy. I said no, it didn't. Nintendo did, despite the issues from some of the consoles obviously swapping. Pretty much, Sony was greedy. Even them generations, all them generations, they were greedy. Nintendo was too. I can't say Nintendo was not. They was, but Nintendo had all the gaming content. Even when it counted both the current Switches currently, you know the games are produced for some of it on Switch too. But either way, Sony has nothing, bro. So the last was straight no turn. Sorry, damn all them. What the most in your brother was no controversy. So you gotta watch that word too, bro. Because no, you got 2 jobs. And you say that word, you even know it's the right word to say. It's all how you say that word too. It's how you say it. It will make you lose your job. So watch yourself with that word, bub. Because you end up getting yourself hurt. Either way. It don't have to be by us friends. It can be by people that you don't know if you say controversial around them, the word controversial around them. That's what we'll let you have a worse than physicality. Either way. You can't call yourself a true samurai because you only own a sword here. How you gonna call yourself that? What say you on that? Either way. But started a bit of a 23 minutes. Either way, Sony has nothing, bro. Like I said, from a gaming standpoint, Sony has nothing. And they barely have any Game of the Year contenders going. The next Microsoft's going to dominate the Game of the Year. What's going forward, and they might win. If they had any other category, that'd be Publisher of the Year. But most likely they'll win that too. Well, do most likely the Game of the Year red controversy. I said, well, you gotta stop saying that too, because that's one word that end up making you lose 2 of your jobs, both your jobs. You know, since you have 2 of them. Keep saying all you want. So, like I said, Sony has nothing, and they're all just getting serious ass, bro, because these fanboys don't realize what times we're in right now. Microsoft has all the content, including the games I got 100%, and they play anyway games. They got all the content, and they got all these they got over 75 day one games coming to them, counting Activision included. Whatever studio makes these new calls, I think it's gonna be Treyarch or can't think of the other company that makes Activision. Infinity Ward, yeah, Infinity Ward. There we go, Infinity Ward. But either way, it's not a bit with 23 minutes or 24 minutes. But either way, keep it short. But either way. You need to give Sony the smoke. I told Joe and I told you before, y'all need to give Sony the smoke because Sony did not get no pass from me on this. I've been getting them smoke all year. Yeah, I gave Microsoft some smoke when it came to the prices going up for the Game Pass. I found the way around that price. What else is new? What else is new? I found the way around that price. Only paying $15 a month through a Neva. But either way, like I said, and I can stack those up. But either way, Sony has nothing, bro. Sony has nothing. And it's scrambling right now for money. As I told you before, Sony has nothing, bro. Just better off getting serious. As I know my cousin's gonna call me an Xbox and a phony. I said, you can call me all you want, cuz you can. But at the end of the day, at least I have all the gaming content on both my consoles. And I was at 3 external installed in 3 different external, 2 of the same brand installed for both consoles, and then have another one that's fall back and forth to indies. I had 3 trying to upgrade my one on PS4. At least I had the store to install all these games there. So my cousin can't tell me because you know if we talk about him about what's going on in the gaming industry, he'll be crickets. He'll just laugh it off and then be mad. But you're going to be waiting a while for first parties. You'll be waiting a long while. And then some. Because I told him he still didn't get Madden 20. Madden 22 is almost 5 months old now as of next year. And the game came back out and all the football season is almost over. But either way. And he still didn't buy Madden 2020. As I said in one of my bills, which you heard that comment out last week. There's something wrong with that there. Either way. But okay, guys. I ended the video right there. That was a little great rant, obviously. What's going on in the game? Those bills going to continue to come later on during the week. But I told them on there, Joe, y'all need to get Sony to smoke. But either way, give you my IGs. That'll be watching too. Hachikanami. That'll be watching too. Chunly Lemon. How I just sent on my merge meta and IGs. I have 4 IGs. You can find me on Spotify. Had 11 on Spotify. On Spotify had 11. Face Hush 12. I used my meta one for that for my royalty account for Spotify. So Face Hush 12. That's my first Series X and X all Matters purchase series. My purchases on PS6 all digital Matrix. That's my other Spotify account. Then Retro Hush, News Hush 1, and Face Hush. Those all 5 my Spotify. So you got all my Spotify's right there. Give you my Facebook's my whole fake name spelled backwards pretty much. You'll see the Heaven and Hell AI picture on it that I saved from months ago. But either way, and this year, but either way, changed it after having my old one for that long. I changed it. You'll see the picture. You'll notice me. Got a lot of friends on Facebook, like the way, including the friends I went to school with, going back to all my school days, grade school, middle school, high school, et cetera, college, either way. And you add me on PSN next February too, Furry Kingdom, tell me his shit, but I gotta hurry to change that gamer tag. So much gotta issue. I gotta change that gamer tag. So not have a hope about next year. But anyway, I start setting up for Series S. That's told King David one of my bills are coming to Series S. Dirk Gregory and Sean said that I'm coming to Series S, Sean, because Sony has nothing. And me and Dirk Gregory and Sean been on the money with the kind of what's going on because Sony fanboys, as Dirk said in some of his podcasts, make me sick to my stomach. But either way, some of my rivals was I gave up right there. But either way, and you add me on Series S, yeah, Xbox and Cloud. You can add me on both. But most I'm gonna have Series S coming my way. But either way, so it's about to start the 24 minutes. I started at 26. But either way, just give you all my links, obviously, and you have me on Alpha Hut 48 and Berry Series S. You'll know it's me. And you'll add me on Retro Hut 54 on my other Xbox account. You'll know it's me because you'll see that Retro Hut on the Retro Xbox. But you'll know it's me. Either way, okay, guys, in the bed right there. That was a great round. But stay tuned. More content with us going on in the gaming industry as a whole. Stay tuned for more videos like that. More videos like that coming up later on today and during the week. So stay tuned for that as well. Stay tuned for my trophy updates as well. Those are coming up too once I get the remaining indie games going forward here. Stay tuned for those trophy updates as well because the wrap-up, they said that the wrap-up continues through January, so they say you can check the platinums. I mean, once you're going to do January until past January and beyond, because PS4 support ends in April. But I said I'm still can play online on it because as long as I have the membership, so either way. Okay, guys, end the video right there. You got all my links for Spotify, Facebook, IG. Oh yeah, I gotta give me my YouTube and Twitch. My Twitch is Cyberlin, Furry King, Gamer Heart 6. My TikTok is TikTok Light, TikTok Hutch 1 on TikTok Light and Lemon Queen 3 on TikTok. I use both days. I look through them every day. Either way. You know where to follow me on YouTube, Unique Hutch, KBH Podcast. Right down. It's a KBH Podcast, Unique Hutch. That's the first 25 News Hutch 1. Okay, guys, I end the video. You got all my links. You got all my PSNs. I gave you all those, obviously. I had 2 of those popping. I got to change the gamer tag soon. But either way, guys, I end the video right there. This was a great run, obviously. But stay tuned for more gaming industry content and more trophy update content, more content for us, me showing the stuff that you can get locally through Temu and eBay and local through Temu and eBay and all that is your Amazon. So stay tuned for those videos coming later on in the week and today as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that, Joe. Great brand, obviously. Leave a like on the video, obviously, if you did. And subscribe to all 4 of my YouTube channel. Let me get the 50 subs on my other ones, please. Thanks. But either way, so I can keep those videos afloat. But either way, you guys are in the video right there. Great rant, obviously. Stay tuned for more videos coming up today and later on during the week, in the weekend as well, once I come back from my appointment, obviously. You guys are in the video right there. Yeah, this is. It was 30 minutes. Longer, man.